I've previously reported the day before, there was a shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut, where we now count 18 children have died, including 6 adults. The gunman is reported to have committed suicide on the spot after having committed the crime and is counted among the dead, the authorities have confirmed. Now, 2 other children were transported to hospital to be treated for injuries, where they also later died. A woman who worked at the school was also wounded. Lieutenant Balvant said another adult was found dead at a secondary crime scene in Newtown, which police discovered while investigating the gunman. The victim has been identified as the shooter's own mother. Apparently, according to police reports, the man who committed this shooting also killed his mother before he went on to kill the children. Now, it's also another person has been picked up by police, said to be the gunman's brother. The shooter has not been officially identified, but after the shooting, the suspect's brother was taken into custody for questioning. No information is available yet on whether he knew what was going to happen or not. The media is saying this is the second worst shooting in the entire nation's history, exceeded only by the Virginia Tech Massacre in 2007, which left 32 people, including the gunman, dead. Now, according to reports, the gunman drove his mother's car to the school. Now, 3 guns were found inside the vehicle, a Glock, a Sig Sauer, both of them pistols. And in the school was found a .223 caliber rifle in the back of the car. Authorities have also recovered 3 other guns. They haven't said thus yet where they recovered these guns from: a Henry repeating rifle, an Enfield rifle, and a shotgun. Now, with this whole tragedy unfolding, U.S. President Barack Obama did speak to the media concerning it.
This afternoon I spoke with Governor Malloy and FBI Director Mueller. I offered Governor Malloy my condolences on behalf of the nation and made it clear he will have every single resource that he needs to investigate this heinous crime, care for the victims, counsel their families. We've endured too many of these tragedies in the past few years, and each time I learn the news, I react not as a president, but as anybody else would, as a parent. And that was especially true today. They had their entire lives ahead of them: birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own. We have been through this too many times, whether it's an elementary school in Newton, or a shopping mall in Oregon, or a temple in Wisconsin, or a movie theater in Aurora, or a street corner in Chicago. These neighborhoods are our neighborhoods, and these children are our children. And we're going to have to come together and take meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this, regardless of the politics. God bless the memory of the victims. And in the words of Scripture, heal the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds.
As powerful as these words are, as emotional as all of this is, I can't help but think, despite the concern, the genuine concern that he has shown for these kids, of course, being a father himself, so he would understand this better than someone who didn't have kids, he has shown complete, cold-blooded indifference to children who've been killed in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and children who've been killed by drone strikes in God knows how many countries now, at least Pakistan and Yemen. For all the children in these countries who've been killed as a result of orders he has given to continue these unjust and immoral wars, he cares nothing for those children who were killed. Just think of the last wedding party that had children murdered by a drone strike. Think about the last village U.S. forces went into in Afghanistan, where they killed, I think it was 19 children. 19 children. How many died here? 18. More children were killed by who? A gunman. A gunman who came into a village and killed these children. Not all unlike the gunman who came into this school and killed 18 children. Of course, the gunman in America who shot school children is, he's probably going to be found to be mentally unstable in that he did have mental problems. Yet this man who goes in and murders 19 children in an Afghan village, for what? Because supposedly the village might have supported the Taliban because they dared not support the people who are occupying their country. Okay, I'm getting off on a tangent right now, abstracting from where it is I'm supposed to be talking about. But I mean, this is the kind of just really odd, contradictory nature. I mean, here he is almost giving tears for children killed in America by a gunman who went in and shot up a bunch of children. Yet here are 19 thousands, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of children who have died and are suffering as of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And there's nothing. There's no show for emotion for these children who have died whatsoever. Well, what's the difference? Isn't an innocent child an innocent child? But it's not. This is the imperialist mindset. The death of their own people is this big, huge tragedy. I believe it is 4,000 some odd soldiers who have died as a result of the war on terror. It's this big thing that we have to feel sorry for, and it's put into us by the media that these are heroic sacrifices, and we're supposed to mourn the loss of these individuals who have supposedly fought for us. Yet we have 3 million people in these countries that were attacked in the war on terror that they absolutely don't care about, that don't count for anything. And their deaths are not put in our face, and we're told about how sad it is and how they died. I mean, by comparison, what? A bunch of people who, largely for the most part, did nothing in these countries, had nothing to do with 9/11, had nothing to do with the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, murdered. And there's like no sympathy for them at all. The U.S. administration does not care. The coalition of willing forces just do not care. NATO does not care. Yet, here we have people who volunteered to go into the army, who did, without refusing orders, go into these countries, commit these war crimes, and the wars themselves are a crime. And it's like all this display of pageantry and how we're supposed to feel sorry for them. Let's just look at that. The two completely different perceptions of people who've been killed. Literally 2 groups of innocent children. One of them is considered a tragedy and something the president cries over. Another set of children is like an annoyance to them. God damn it, one of our soldiers killed a bunch of children again. Now we're going to have to do some PR repair and try to find a way to minimize the damage as a result of this, and probably try to hush the media so they don't talk about it too much. I mean, the death of these, from what I saw, vast majority white children in a small town, big, huge, terrible thing. Yet the massacres of these hundreds of thousands of children who've died in these 2 wars alone are like something they have to try to spin, or it's something that's an annoyance, that's getting in the way of their plans. This is the imperialist mindset. This is the way imperialism makes us look at each other, to make us believe that there are lesser people that exist outside of the country that we live in, and they don't matter. They are nothing. This is the same kind of mentality that drives Israel to murder the people that they do in Palestine and think of them as nothing. This is the same kind of mentality that leads to, that shirt that I'm sure most of us have seen by now from the Israeli military that had, a target painted over a pregnant woman that says 1 shot, 2 kills. This is where that mindset comes from. This is the epitome of the way the world imperialist system wants us to look at each other. The people outside of our border are nothing, and they're not worth anything. Everybody in these are human beings. Not everybody committed guilty acts. Some people did. The vast majority did not. Yet those who did not are the ones that are looked upon as the people who did something wrong when they didn't. The imperialistic aggressor, when he dies, it's a mourning period, and we're supposed to feel sorry for them, and we give them medals when their actions were unjust and immoral. Yet these people who've died literally in the millions from the imperialist war machine, and their deaths are considered normal. That's what's supposed to happen. The loss of these millions of people are part of the plan and was supposed to happen. Yet the deaths of the soldiers who carry these crimes out are something we're supposed to mourn and show respect for them for. And I think this fact alone shows the true mentality of the capitalist imperialist global system. This is not just, this is a result of the ruling class wanting us to look at other people as less for their benefit. As much as I do believe in Mao's third worldist theory, we are all in this together. And my interests as a working class person are largely similar to that of a working class person in the third world. I mean, of course, I have first world privilege, and a lot of first world peoples, even particularly working class peoples, will defend that privilege that they have over the first world. But essentially, we are proletariat. And the reason that there is a distinction between us, one of the reasons why we in the first world just idiotically fall for this idea that we're supposedly better than them, and worth more than them, and deserve more than them, you know, along with the whole idea of American exceptionalism, is the concept of countries. Like, they're in different countries, so they're worth less. I mean, I've said it before, I don't even believe in the concept of countries. Nations shouldn't even exist. They're a completely artificial construct that don't mean anything. They serve to do nothing but separate, you know, the global factions of the working class against each other through petty, narrow, nationalist BS. The same thing that leads to a lot of totalitarian regimes. The idea that this country is the best country and it has to retain a powerful place among all others, or to be exceptional among all other nations. And I'm tired of it. Now, I know I've just gone completely off on a tangent and talked about a whole bunch of things, but at least they're all interconnected into the same thing, and that this world imperialist capitalist system is pushing this on us. And that this is a tremendous example of what it is that we are fed every day, and how this can go past our own minds without us even seeing it. The deaths of these children in Connecticut are a tragedy, and they are. There's no doubt that this is a tragedy. The murdering of innocent children is a tragedy. Yet the murdering of hundreds of thousands of times more children is just looked on as a part of the superiority of our position in the first world.